So this is something a little bit different today. Not your usual video with lots of slick edits and fancy views. However, you can still see the Peak District in the background there. Today I'm going to be focusing on answering all the questions that you sent me through YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. Some of them about camping, some of them about the channel and the things that we've got planned for the coming year. So I'll crack on straight away, and I'll start with one of the questions that I've had on YouTube, which Dat.B Rejects asks, what is your recommended map app after the View Ranger app has closed down? So I'm still using the OS Maps app, so that's what it looks like. I've got the subscription. I think it's £25 a year it costs me, but I do get all of the 1 to 50 and 1 to 25 maps, and it's pretty much the best out there for when it comes to my kind of activities. I've not tried any of the other apps. I tend to stick to what I know when it comes to that kind of technology, to be honest with you. If you do know of anything better, drop a comment below. Next question is from Adam Poole. I'm looking to go on my first wild camp soon. Would you recommend creating a video or vlog for my trip, or simply put all the devices away and enjoy the moment? That's entirely up to you, Adam. A lot of people now tend to video their experience. It's something that they can look back on, something that they can show the kids, and maybe you'll learn from some of the mistakes that you made, because you will make a few mistakes. We all do on our first wild camp. But I know that sometimes having the camera with you, does get in the way of things. So it's entirely up to you. It's personal preference. You can just leave the camera rolling if you want and don't do anything fancy like moving it around and then just see what footage you get. But yeah, let me know how you get on, and if you do make a video, send me a link and I'll check it out. Right, next question. How much water do you bring per day, and what are your modes of water transport? So it depends. So if I know that there's a guaranteed water source, I might only take a litre or half a litre, just something that is enough for me to get to where I'm going, and then I can process some water when I got up there. I use the Katadyn B3 water filter. However, when I'm carrying water, I either use a Nalgene bottle, which are 1 litre ones, or I'll sometimes use just the regular plastic water bottles. I do use them over and over again, so I've got a few of these bottles now. I think I forget the name of it, smart water bottles. I've got a few of those, and some of the bottles as well, they also fit directly onto the water filters, so it's well worth checking out. But if it's going to be multi-day or really longer trips, or it's really hot, you really need to be looking on the map to see if there are any water sources, because you don't want to be carrying 4 or 5 litres of water or anything like that, because it soon adds a lot of weight to your pack. Right, so Beej has asked, hi Paul, I'd love to know how you deal with wet kit when on a wild camp. Would love to see a full video on this. When it's bucketing down, how do you stop your clothing getting the inside of your tent wet, and how do you get changed into dry gear? Where do you store the wet gear, etc.? Thanks a lot, mate. Keep up the great work. So yeah, that's something that you just have to get on with, really. So normally my shelter is at the top of my pack. So first thing I do is I set up the tent, get in with my wet gear on, out of the elements, and then start to take the wet gear off. Sometimes I put it inside like a bin liner or a dry sack. Sometimes I hang it up, so I've got little washing lines inside some of my tents anyway. And occasionally I just put it on top of my bag in the vestibule. Any water that I'll get on the floor of the tent, I'll tend to mop that up with like a little squeegee mop that I've got. So, and then when everything's dried out or dry to the touch, then you can start putting all your other gear out, like your sleeping pad and your sleeping mat, and sleeping pad and sleeping bag, etc. Oh, as for the next day, sometimes I have to put wet gear back on again. As soon as you get walking though, you soon start to warm up and dry. I use things like fast wicking polyester clothing, things like Paramo or Buffalo, or even this Rab jacket. The sort of technology that it uses, it pumps the water to the outside basically, so yeah, it helps dry you out really quickly. Next question, Dean Eager. I want to try Woodland camp. It's windy. I'm confident I have enough of the right kit, but don't know how to find a suitably remote woodland. Any pointers? I've done a couple of videos on how to find wild camping spots, so use Google Maps, Google Earth, things like that. Go out on a day walk and just start and check out a few places, and then mark them out on your phone. Pinpoint them so you know where to go and have a camp. It is better off if you're wanting to use woodland. You've got to be either very discreet, or ask the person who owns the land if you can use it. There are some dedicated bushcraft areas, so there's lots of clubs on Facebook and online where you can just go and hire their woodland for a little bit. You pay £5 or £10 a night. There's one called Candy Corner Bushcraft. There is Beehive Bushcraft. £5 or £10 a night, and you can go and do what you want, and you've got no worries about getting kicked off or anything like that. Next question. So Gary, IPALs, any regrets so far on the full-time YouTube? Thanks for your comment as always, Gary. No, I've got no regrets. It's not as easy as you think it is. You see a lot of these big influencers that have this jet set life where they're going from the jet skiing, or they're on these hoverboard things or whatever it is, driving a Ferrari or a big truck. Life isn't quite like that. It's still a job, and you still have the pressure of putting bread on the table and paying the mortgage and stuff like that. So, however, it's a far better job than sitting in an office doing risk assessments. So yeah, I've got no regrets on it at all. We get to spend more time with Reggie, Joe and the kids. Not necessarily in that order, by the way. I'll get into trouble. Yeah, but no regrets at all, mate. Highly recommend it if you can afford to do it. What else have we got? So, rambling on, and Wild Camping 101, Craig, how you doing? They're asking about some of the longer distance treks. So Rambling On says, would you consider giving the Cape Wrath Trail a go? Craig has asked, what about the coast to coast? So both of those are about 200 mile a piece. I think the coast to coast is 190 mile, Cape Wrath Trail's 200, I think. They're not top of my list at the minute. Although I do look like an Adonis, I'm not prepared for those kind of distances. However, yeah, I would like to think that in the next few months I'll be having a pop at something like the Cumbria Way. I've got something, Andy Beavers has got something up his sleeve for a 3-dayer in the Peak District that he says I can join him on. So I've got those sort of 3 to 5 days at the minute that are on my wish list. I'm not quite ready yet for the 10 to 14 days. Knees just won't take it at the minute, so but never say never. Next question. Right, hi Paul, this is Living in My Own Little World. Hi Paul, do you ever get scared when out on your own, and do you hear strange noises? Thank you. I do hear some strange noises. There's usually a little bit of wildlife around. Peak District has got grouse, which can be quite startling when they jump out at you, and they make a really funny noise. There's usually little rodents that you can hear about scuttling around, rabbits, things like that. I've only ever been scared, shall we say, once, and I tapped out of a camp, and that was North Yorkshire, and the moors up there near the village of Harddraw. I went up. I've been camping many times before, many times since, and never felt anything like it. Pitched my bivvy, and it just didn't feel right. It felt really eerie. I felt like there were things coming up from the ground just about. It was really spooky, no idea why. So I just packed my stuff up, got off there as quick as I can, and drove a couple of hours home. If it don't feel right, don't do it. Never had any problems since, and I hope I don't have any more either. Next question. Right, this was from Dave Johnson. Say, hi Paul, are you using a frying pan on the jet boil stove? I found it a waste of time. There's one hot spot in the centre of it, so you know when he's cooking 3 or 4 sausages, one's in the middle get burnt and the others don't. Is there a knack to it, basically? Yeah, sort of. The jet boil summit skillet is, it's not the same thickness all the way through. So the centre of the pan is thicker than it is at the edges. So when the heat hits the pan, I don't know how it does it, but it evenly distributes the heat throughout the pan. So it makes it for a much better cooking surface. So it's one of the pros, I suppose, of using a pan that is a little bit more expensive, but it is designed to be used on that kind of stove. So as for using just a normal pan, a normal frying pan, you could get a stove that's got a wider burner on it. Camp stoves tend to be just like a jet focused flame. So you can get something, even just like, I did a video where I bought the cheapest stove on Amazon. It was about £5, but the burner ring is about this size. So it's much better for a normal pan on a bigger diameter. Other than that, the jet boil summit skillet, I highly recommend it. Next question. So Janice Koch, how do you plan your wild camps? Weather, location, length, elevation, etc. I've done a couple of videos on that already, Janelle. Yeah, I've done one where how to find a wild camping spot. I tend to use things like Google Earth, Google Maps. I've done a complete camp from start to finish, including planning, finding a parking spot, plotting your route, all of that kind of stuff. If I get a chance, I'll put links up here to those videos or in the description below. So well worth checking out. Let's have a look at some on Instagram. So, where are we? Right, so Little Red is on fire. The cost effectiveness of your MSR frying pan based on the number of steaks cooked versus RRP. I ain't got an MSR frying pan, but yeah, the amount of times I've cooked a steak on the jet boil skillet, it might have cost me £1 or £2 at the steak, but I've had my money's worth already. Aha, so Ali3234, who was your favourite YouTube and camping vlogger? Oh, that's a tough one. Very tough one. So YouTube, to be honest with you, I don't watch as many camping stuff as other stuff. I used to watch a lot, and then you do that thing where you're comparing yourself with everybody all the time. And you start looking to try and maybe replicate what they've done, and I try and be something a little bit unique, bring something a little bit different to the table. The more videos that I watch tend to be about how to make better videos, how to perform better at YouTube. People like Peter McKinnon, even Casey Neistat when he puts a video out. But camping vloggers, there's a few I watch. I obviously watch my mates, Andy Beavers, Steve, Outdoor Lifestyle. I watch Dan Becker over in America. He's doing really well. Tony, AB Camping. If you've got a couple of hours to spare to watch each of his videos, but they're very relaxing, and he's just passed the 100,000 subscriber mark, so congratulations again to you, Tony. There's loads to call out, and there's loads of new channels that are popping up all the time, so yeah, so every time you search for wild camping, there's a new one out there. So and everyone's better than I was anyway when it came to starting out. So you look at some of these channels now, like Kat, one girl and her dog. She's just got 1,000 subscribers in a couple of months. It took me forever to get 1,000 subscribers. So it's never too late if you want to start up your own YouTube channel. So it's a good question. S.J. Johnson, what would Paul of today say to Paul of the past? 1, personal. 2, when you just started making your YouTube videos. It's a tough one. I wouldn't change anything, to be honest with you, of my past. So, I think if I went back and told Paul of the past to go and do things differently, I might not be where I am today. So everyone says that they'd like to go back and give themselves some good advice, but I had good advice from my mum and dad and my headmaster and my teachers and things like that, and I still did what I wanted to do, and I learnt the most from cocking up and making my own mistakes and carving my own way in life. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. As for the YouTube, I wouldn't change anything with that either. I never set out to be a YouTuber. I just made a few videos and then it just grew into what it is today. There's lots of people now that start out wanting to be a YouTuber, and I don't blame them, because it's a good lifestyle to have. However, it's not everybody gets to be a YouTuber. There's only so many that can make a living out of it. I don't know what the percentage is. I bet it's less than 1% that make a full-time living out of it. And they get disappointed when they don't hit the targets that you want. I get it myself. You put a video out and it doesn't get the views that you want, and then you get downhearted, and then the point where you stop making videos, or you give up on it too soon. My only advice would be is just to keep making videos. You don't get views if you don't put a video out there, so just be consistent and just try and learn the game and try and make it each video better and better. But that's what I've tried to do anyway. Apart from this one, which is probably a one-take wonder, no cuts in it, so it'll be pretty rubbish. It'll be more like a podcast than a video, but thought I'd do something a little bit different anyway. So, next question. Hiker photographer, what's your best tips to get a good night's sleep in a tent other than the right mat and sleeping bag? Earplugs. That's the tip of the day, earplugs, because there will be noises, whether it's your tent rustling, flapping, birds, animals, Andy Beaver snoring 6 foot away from you in his tent, whatever it is, get some earplugs. Sheep Steve, now that you're a celebrity, do people recognise you in the street and stop for a chat? If so, do you mind this? I wouldn't say that I'm a celebrity. I can still walk down the street most of the time anyway. However, I do get stopped quite a lot. I think when we went to the NEC Expo a few weeks back, we must have got stopped 25, 30 times by lots of lovely people that wanted to shake your hand and ask you questions and things like that. And it's lovely to meet the people that watch the videos. When I first started getting recognised, it would just be usually in the Peak Districts, maybe if I was in Edale or something. I used to go all shy and clam up and just say, put my head down a little bit and not really know what to say and just say thank you. However, I'm getting much better at it now, and I'm happy to talk to people. I ask their names and usually get into some kind of conversation with them nowadays. So yeah, it's all good fun. And if you do see me, make sure you stop and say hello. What else do we have? How much does a fully grown tortoise weigh? I think we'll pass on that one. So Matt does mountains. will you ever go abroad and do some camping, hiking videos? Would love to see you go somewhere like New Zealand. I'd love to go to New Zealand. I've already mentioned Tony, AB Camping. He lives in New Zealand. There's absolutely no predators there, so it's just like being in the UK, but probably better. Yeah, so the camping there looks excellent. Whereas if you go to, when you see these guys in the States, in the Rocky Mountains and all that, and they can't cook a steak on a jet boil in the tent like I do. You've got to respect the wildlife out there. So there's lots of things out there that want to eat you. So it would definitely be a learning curve, but I'd love to give it a go, going camping abroad. So Hughes Hikes, what do you think is the key to success on YouTube for outdoor channels? Cheers. Consistency, as I've already mentioned, and it defines on what do you define success. If somebody watches your video, it might be one person, and then gets inspired to go and do something great, then that's a success for me. You don't have to get 1 million views and earn thousands and thousands of pounds to be a successful YouTube creator. But if that's what you're after, then you've got to make your video stand out from the crowd. So, like I said earlier, if you do a search now for wild camping, I've done it. I've made a video that is very similar to somebody else's video, and it's just my take on it. But if you really want to make the difference, you need to be completely different and do something that's not been done before, and do it well. So it's not just a case of doing extreme. Extreme does all right. You get a lot of channels that I went camping in a storm at 80 mile an hour, the tent falls down and they have to bail out. They might get good views on that video, and then the following video they might get 100 views. And you need to have that sort of consistent level of video quality. So don't go for the killer video, the viral one that you're trying to chase. You want to go for consistent, good quality videos. That's what I try and do anyway. I'm not sure if I succeed or not. Right, Harry Newell, what age did you first get into camping? Was it with your family or something you found later on? So I tried camping when I was younger, and I tried camping with my family as an adult as well, and it never really bothered with me. In fact, I took the kids once when they were really little, and we had to bail out because we just bought a cheap Halfords kit. It was in April, and we were on the coast somewhere, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing. There was frost on the ground, and that kit just wasn't up to it. So we packed up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and went home. However, so I played football till I was 40, 41, something like that. And when I finally hung the boots up, I wanted something to fill that void a little bit. So got into the bushcrafting, got into a bit of the camping, and just fell in love with it. So it's only recently, last 8-9 years or something like that, that I've really been into it. So yeah, and you're never too late, that's what I say. Right, so Adam in the Wild. Hi Paul, Adam in the Wild here. You've inspired me to start my own channel up, doing what I love. How does it feel when people get out and, I need to learn to read, hang on. How does it feel when people get out and about and enjoy the outdoors based on your influence? Thanks for the inspiration and great videos, Adam. It feels good, to be honest with you. It's not just the people that go out and make videos. We get messages every day from little kids all the way up to pensioners that are going out camping, whether it's in the back garden, in the Lake District for the first time. Some of them are just going on hikes based on what the things that they've seen in the videos, and it's brilliant to see. Especially when the youngsters are they're putting down their PlayStation and getting outdoors. It's not the norm now for kids to be outdoorsy, I don't think. And a lot of kids, you know, they feel that they're a bit different if they're into the outdoors, or the Cubs or the Scouts or something. All the trend is about Xbox or Roblox or whatever the games are called, I don't know. But getting outdoors is definitely trumps any of those things anyway. So if you're watching and you're a young'un, yeah, make sure you get outdoors and get your dad or whatever to take you camping. Right, let's have a look, see if we've got anything on the Facebook. Might be some on there. Right, so Dave Roberts, don't forget to check out Dave Outdoors' channel. Question: what is the main reason you escape to the great outdoors, and why? I love it. It gives me energy. It recharges my batteries. Anything that's going on in the world that gets on your nerves a little bit, whether it's stressors, mental health problems, all of those can be helped by getting outdoors. It's like Mother Nature heals everything. Fly in the eye. It's not what I needed. I was just saying how Mother Nature heals everything, and then she pokes me in the eye with a fly. Karma for you, isn't it? Yeah, so that's the reason really. Also now it's my job, so I've got to get outdoors. Even today, I could have filmed this in the back garden. I could have filmed it in the office, but I just want to be out and feel that buzz, get a little bit of wind going through my hair. You know what I mean? A couple of familiar names here. Kevin Ellis, who was your 10th subscriber? No idea. It's probably you, Kev. Kevin I used to work with when I was doing the risk assessments and stuff. Next one is Kathleen Copeland. That's my sister. What is the top of your bucket list? And do you really need that many stoves? Oh dear. I've got no idea what's on top of the bucket list. I would like to go to the Dolomites, visit the Messner museum up there. Someone walking the dog. Yeah, it does look beautiful in the Dolomites as well. What else would I like to do? I still haven't done Ben Nevis, so I want to do Ben Nevis. So that is definitely up there as well. Me and Joe have got a little road trip planned. I can't say too much about that yet, but it will be on video, and it will be good viewing, I hope. And as for the stoves, Catherine, yes, I do need that many stoves. I think there's a couple more that I could add to the list as well. MSR's just bought a little one out as well, which is it's like the MSR Pocket Rocket that sits on the ground. So I want to get my hands on one of them and all. What else do we have? Craig Wilcox wants to see an in-depth review of the Scarp 1. I'm sure I'll get round to it one day. Nicholas Watkins Price, if you could only climb one mountain or fell, which one and why? It's a tough one. So Mamtor is probably my favourite hill. The Mother Hill, I believe it's called. The views in all 360 directions are stunning from up there. However, it's not a place where I can really go camping, so I probably have to choose somewhere where I could camp. Maybe something like Red Pike or Fleetwood Pike, just because the views from up there are second to none. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. Oh, we've got a visitor. We've got a dog sniffing my tripod. Hello. Hello. You're live on camera. Right. So, the Welsh Pathfinder. What has been your biggest camping disaster and or lesson learned? I don't think I've really had any disasters. I wouldn't call them disasters. I've not been hurt. I've had the odd little slip and pulled the odd muscle here and there, but nothing that doesn't heal. Yeah, every camp I learn something new, whether it's about my kit, whether it's about the area. I think the biggest thing that I learned was about taking too much gear. So first camp, I've said it before, probably had 100 litres worth of stuff strapped to the bag as well, and I was about dead by the time I got to where I was camping. So you don't need all that stuff. However, it doesn't hurt to take a little bit more when you're first starting out, and then realise what you don't need. You're better off having a little bit extra and being warm than freezing all night. Right, so something to talk about podcast. Will you be a guest on my podcast? Yes, I will do, mate, but you'll have to join the list. I've got Tim Marner wants me to go on a podcast, and Yorkshire Lad Outdoors wants me to go on a podcast, and I've said yes to both of those. So you're next on the list, I'm afraid. Send me a message. Right, let's go back to YouTube, have a couple more, and then we'll get wrapped up. Right, newest first. Right, Joe Clark. Hi Paul, what website do you find offer the best deals on camping gear and clothing? Ooh. Right, so there is a website called Trek In. So Trek, TREKKINN. There's a few other ones that's like it, like Snow In and something else. They do ship from Spain, but you do get some really good bargains on there. So it's well worth checking them out. Might take a little bit longer, 5 or 6 days to come sometimes, but I've had no problems ordering from there. However, if you go outdoors, they will price match any UK competitor. So unless it's Blacks or Ultimate Outdoors, which is part of the same group. So, you know, if you found something, say on Taunton Leisure, they would beat it by 10%. So it's well worth swapping around and then price comparing. Billy Kelly, so what are your top 3 bits of kit and why? PS, love your videos and keep up the great work. Ooh, top 3 bits. It's a tough one. I'm going to have to say, although I've not had it all that long, it's my Thermarest X-Therm. Love it. It's first time it's not the first time. First time I've had a wide Thermarest pad, and makes all the difference having a wider pad. And the R-value on it, I've never known anything like it for keeping you warm. I've not tried it yet in the summer. I don't know if it'd be too warm or whether you can still use it all year round. But that is number 1, I think. Number 2, ooh, I'm going to have to, excuse me, I'm going to have to say my Ugq Bandit Quilt. Could be one of either of them, to be honest. They're all brilliant bits of kit. Absolutely love them. Always keep me toasty warm, and yeah, they're really, really well made. However, they are expensive to get them shipped here to the UK. And the third bit, tough one. I'll say my Trangia Spirit Burner. I've had it for years. Absolutely love it. It never lets me down. Very robust. You can't break it. I could jump on it and it'd still keep going strong. So yeah, they're the 3 that I would say, just off the top of my head anyway. One from Tony Outdoors. If you could invent something that camping lacks, what would it be? Oh, it would have to be a 4-season tent that has no condensation, that is under 1 kilo and under 150 pounds, because that's what everybody seems to ask for, and you just can't have everything. So you need to pick usually 2 of the 3 of those, or 2 of the 4 of those things. Yeah, but that would be the thing that I'd love to invent. And finally, Top Cat, will you be doing any more bushcraft videos and worst case scenarios to get you out of trouble? I'll definitely be doing some more bushcraft videos, yeah, no doubt about it. I am also, you know, hopefully going to be getting some little canoeing trip on the cards as well. So that'll be canoeing you know, bushcrafting on the banks of the canal or the river. Yeah, so there'll be plenty of bushcraft stuff. Worst case scenario, I'm not going to just, you know, spend the night in a bin liner just to get some views to see if I can survive in it. There's plenty of other people can do that. I will give sensible advice if I can, and you know, if something isn't up to a job, then I'll quite happily state that it's not up to the job. But I can't see the point in me just going out with just a knife to try and survive the night. Yeah, I've got a lot more other things that I can be doing, and that I'll find more enjoyable as well. So I still want to enjoy making my videos. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'm going to wrap up. Thanks for all your questions. I will do another one of these in another couple of months. Until then, I'll see you next time.